So all I need is for you guys to listen and hear this out. And if you aren't happy with the story or you don't want to do anything about what you hear, that is completely fine, because you're right. But I would appreciate some support, just hearing me out. So, back when I was really, really young, I used to have an addiction issue that was caused by people really close that were supposed to be trusted in my household being really bad people. By the way, I know it says 7:14 a.m., but that's 3 hours off because I did some work on my car and now the clock is off, so ignore that, please. But anyway, I decided to get help when I was younger, and I did, and I was clean for a very long time. 8+ years. Anyway, being with the person who was beating me and eventually sexually assaulted me, I was afraid of relapse, and he was using, and I was just getting into a very bad state mentally, and I ended up going to a methadone clinic to get help. And it's been helpful. I've been clean the whole time now. It's been years. I've been clean since before that person left my life. Ended up going before everything came to a spiral because I saw myself going downhill. Ended up going to the clinic. It's Community Medical Services in West Allis, Wisconsin. I'm literally in the first 46 patients there. Before them, I should say, before the first 46 patients. Anyway, so I ended up going and getting my life together very fast. But I've always rapid metabolized, and I've always required a high dose. I was using, as a child, I could take 5 grams a day without a problem of H and be fine and not have any issues. And because of that, I knew it would be a hard time getting me on any dose that would feel right, because I'd start getting sick right away. And sure enough, that's what happened. And Dr. Allen, who was there in the beginning, and even a different doctor, he used to work for a football league and helped them, and he was very experienced as well. Both of them have way more experience than anyone who's ever come to the clinic since. They helped me. They got me to a very high dose, 420, and that's what helped me. And anything beyond it, less than that, would get me sick. And so far, they've dropped me to 400, but they've made my life miserable. And in the beginning, I was told if I did good, I could go all the way up to phase 6, the top phase, and it wouldn't matter if I decided to stay on a high dose and just work with the program, that's fine. Well, out of nowhere, once I was eligible for that phase, because it was years without a single day missed, a single fuck up ever, a single anything, excuse my French, they told me, well, my dose is too high. You have to be 200 milligrams or under 200 milligrams to be phase 6, which was never, the whole point of me going high was I might have to be on it for years. So, that's a way that as long as you do good, you can be on a dose that you need and be happy and get your life back. Anyway, so they lied to me there. That's not the point of this. So I eventually should be phase 6. I'm not. I get to a point where I get another job because I'm supporting my grandparents, myself, and my 2 children. That's a lot. It's a home, it's a business that I run, and it's mine. I've worked hard for it, and it's a thriving business, but it's a lot of damn work, and I've earned it. And I had a job that worked with my business and allowed it to come along and do educational shows and shows on the weekends, and I had to travel out of state in a very long drive. So my counselor got my day switched that I dosed at the clinic, had a note in on which days I was unavailable for callbacks randomly, which when you're newer and messing up all the time, they call you all the time. But it's normally once every couple months that you maybe get a callback, and that wasn't a big deal, and it was workable. It's a job that's life-changing and life-saving, and that was wonderful. My life is back together now. I'm also facing my rapist in court, and they know that. And they know that it's been pushed off 100 times because a cop couldn't come because he was on vacation and for a million stupid reasons. And that's good and fine, but they know I'm not supposed to be working somewhere that's a consistent location around here that person might know of. And as well, not supposed to be going to the clinic as much as I can avoid it because that person knows where that is. Anyway, so they called me back on one of the days, middle of the day, that I would be driving home, and they know that I could not come in. And because I'm driving, and because in that time, while driving, I'm not going to have my phone on me normally, but at this time I'm recording every instance that I'm going there. I'm keeping everything on me because I'm not documenting anything anymore. Anyways, they did a callback, and the moment that I was in town, the moment that I was able to call, I called and said why, what was going on. They didn't tell me that I missed a callback. They just told me it was a new counselor who was going to be getting me mine's gone for 30 days on medical leave. And even though I only need to talk to a counselor less than once a month, they're going to switch me anyway, even though I've worked with her for a very long time and have, over a year of dedicated effort that I care about with this person and don't want to lose them. So anyway, none of that matters. None of that's even the problem. So I go in and they say, well, you missed your callback, and I show that they have a written letter from work and that my counselor put in to my notes that I'm going to be gone and unavailable on those days, and that they switched my day and the whole shebang. So the counselor I talked to said, oh, that's fine. You have documentation of that. Whatever. So anyway, then the nurse tells me, like, she should be able to do anything, but nurses like to pretend they're doctors half the time, and they're not. She tells me, with her horrible attitude, because she's always had it out for my counselor's patients, and I've seen her be nasty to a few other people I know talk to the old counselor I had, and she's been bad to them and me. She tells us, well, we have to have a staff meeting first, and then we can see if it's okay. Well, then I get called. I go in to show what locations we were at, bring in flyers of where we went and why I couldn't have made it back in time and whatever. And they said, well, that's never been part of the policy. The policy has never been that you can go off and do that. And I was like, well, they told me I could. They switched my days. You have it documented. They're like, yes, Chrissy, another counselor, vouched for you because it was in your documentation. But we're going to have to revoke you to phase 1. Now, up until the day before, their policy was you get dropped one phase. So phase 5 to phase 4, I would still have to come back 3 days a week when I'm only coming once a week now. And I should only be coming once every 2 weeks because they changed the rules again. So it's only because of the amount of a dose I'm on that I'm not on once every 2 weeks. That in itself is annoying. But they put me on every day. And normally, if you were dropped one phase after 30 days of doing well, you get to come back up to your regular phase. Well, now it's if you miss a callback or if you turn up dirty for any illicit substance, heroin, crack, cocaine, methamphetamines, any of those, it's the same exact thing. You couldn't come in on their callback on a day that you have vouched for by your counselor and by an entire document in your staffing file that you aren't there after years of never missing anything, coming every time, doing everything right, never getting to a fight with anybody. There's nothing that I've done wrong. Having no issues with nursing, no issues with, I've never missed a counseling session ever in years. Nothing, not one issue. Anyway, so they dropped me to a phase 1, and they'll see about talking to the state again. Even though the state was there, they wouldn't talk to them that day. They'll see about talking to them in the next couple weeks. So I said, well, my job is going, and it relies on the sales I make those days. It relies on talking to people and the sessions we get those days with people, showing them these animals. That's what it relies on. They're like, oh, we could write a letter. It's like, they'll be fine with me not working. It's just I will get nothing from it because I get it based on what we do and what I do those days. My whole family relies on me. And this is what my point is in this. They want you to be stuck there. Right now, I'm going back every day with people that are standing up and falling over because they're nodding out so bad. When I went there in the first place to get safe and find help, which is fine for everybody. I feel every one of those people is a person, they deserve a chance, and I was in an awful place, worse than a lot of them, many, many years ago, more than 10 now. But I've done damn good, and they want to be your replacement dealer, and that's apparent. And Suboxone treatments, you go to an IOP for a couple weeks, prove you're going to do good, you graduate, and then you get a month of take-home with Suboxone, and you might get drug tested that once a month. Maybe. You might not. Sometimes it's only a couple times a year that they end up actually drug testing you if they really don't feel the need to, if they know that you're doing good. Here it's multiple times, it's about every other time you walk in that you get drug tested for me, and I've not had one issue, like I've stated very clearly, in years, and that's including pot, alcohol, everything, no cigarettes, nothing, not one thing, no vaping, nothing. they have the audacity to drop me to a 1 and take me in here, because it's the same thing on a day you're documented not able to be here because you're out of state. Not that I don't want to be here, but I can't be here. I had a 9-hour drive. It's documented that I leave in the morning that day to drive home. I have a 9-hour drive to get back to the facility where I unload animals. It takes about another 4 hours, and then I have a 1.5 to 2 hour ride home depending on traffic. Normally at that time of night it's pretty clear though, but the clinic closes very early, so there's no way I could make it. And again, it was documented that it was in there that they said it was okay. And here's my thing with it. If you're using, that's fine and Jim Dandy, come in every day. But if you're doing good, there should be a way. If you say, well, this was my point, while I'm still facing this person in trial, I don't want to try to withdraw off this medication and be off of it. I feel it is a safety net, and I like to have it there to show in court that I'm not doing bad and I'm not doing wrong and I'm not about to mess up and go back to a bad life and be a bad mom, because I haven't and I don't have any intention to. I want to do this to prove that I'm doing right and have documentation of it, and I've done a damn good job of doing it and obeyed every rule and every doctor's appointment, and they can't get a vein on me because my veins are killed. They have to stick and poke my fingers to get vials of blood to test them every couple of months, because that's how they are. And I've never bitched. I go home with my hands bandaged and wrapped, and it doesn't matter. I fight through it, and I'm there because I obey the rules. I show up on time. I do my shit. I'm there first thing in the morning when I'm supposed to be. I'm diligent. And at the same time, which doesn't affect any of this, it's not their business, but my grandfather was in the hospital. My grandmother does not have a smartphone or a phone that works that she can use. She, at that time, which shouldn't even apply, shouldn't even be a factor, she had my phone on her, which I am documented to be gone and unavailable those days for the safety of my grandfather, who has vasculitis, who is in the hospital, and my grandmother, who doesn't leave and doesn't have an ability to do anything without that. It was there. So the moment I had it, I called. But none of this is seen, and that's not even the issue. The issue is it is written in that I cannot be there. Someone cleared it. If it's not the rules, that's fine, but they cleared it. I didn't clear it. I didn't put that document in there. They did. And so they're responsible for it. And the fact that they're treating it the same as if someone used and giving it, you start from phase 1, it would take me a year to get a whole week of take-homes back. I have to show up to the same location where I've been followed and driven off the road and been beaten by the person who sexually assaulted me before. So I think it's pretty rotten that they're risking my life and my well-being completely because, oh, well, we just have to be a stickler for these rules. They are the same thing as a drug dealer. You have to drive to them every day. They want that power to be able to hang up that phone and say, nope, now you got to come here when we tell you. It is a sick, sick, twisted world. And they're community medical services in West Allis, Wisconsin. So I'm begging you guys to at the very least look into this and see how corrupt it is, that they end up, for the littlest of accomplishments, giving days and take-homes and stuff in the beginning to keep you here, and they strip it all away from people who have an entire life dependent on it. There's no reason to do this to somebody like me. It's not my fault on any means that they okayed something they should have okayed. It's not like 7 days of the week I can't be here. There are many days of the week I can. It's a couple of days that I go out and I make sales for my job, and then I'm around. That's more than reasonable. Years into it. This is not a year into it. This is not 6 months into it. This is multiples of years sober into it. Keep that in mind. More than that. It was more than 2 years without a single flaw or issue, and that includes missing a doctor's appointment, anything, not one. This early, like late spring, very early summer is when it was officially, like, we had gotten signed in. I got to a counselor that was able to document stuff, and everything was fine. So I would just beg you guys to really listen to this. Think about how corrupt it is. And please say something. My whole life, I can't provide for my family. I can't go and work. It doesn't matter if they write a letter. I can't go and do my job the way I need to. And I told them I'd be willing to work from home. I'd be willing to change things up if this is a rule change. That's fine. But I was not aware of it, and they told me it was okay. And it's in my file and chart that it's okay, and I'm getting punished for their error. And that is the most messed up thing of all. It is not the same to not be able to come back on a callback on a day that you are not supposed to even be called, when they only did it because it was the day my counselor was going to be out and because the nurse has it out completely for people that she doesn't like, or for patients that she doesn't like because of other reasons. I think it's ridiculous to even act like it's an innocent situation. And I think that it's very important that there's a voice that stands up for this, because if not, they're going to keep taking people who have years sober and causing them to do something dumb like relapse. Because if you have to come here and be around people who are messed up and nodding off and using all day and be treated like the same drug addict that you were in a place and you got out of, that's ridiculous. It should be the same way that a Suboxone treatment is. They can be more strict, but it should be the same way, where you earn time and you get to actually have a life and a job and family. And if you're doing good, good for you. If you still need this medication to help, yeah, you still have to come in and, but we'll work with you the best it is. No, you can't be none available 7 days a week, but yeah, 2 days, okay, 3, whatever, that's fine. You're available at any time throughout the day or night or whenever you want, at all times. You've never done anything wrong. You've never missed a day ever, even on dailies. I feel like it's absurd. And I know that if I'm alone in this, I won't have a voice. So again, it's Community Medical Services in West Allis. Please like this video if you want a part 2. And I will sit down and actually go through detail to detail of everything that they've done wrong, because it is my voice and I have a right to speak up. So thank you guys. I love you.